Hey, it's Katherine. So I've talked about how a brand is really all the different things that you do in your business and it really shows up most in your interactions with clients or potential clients, aka everyone who has viewed your website but has not yet decided to start working with you. So today I wanted to talk about how you can up-level your brand experience and your customers' experience of your business without having to really get into the graphics of what to do. So the first point we need to start with is how easy is it to find you? This starts with your business name. Is it easy to spell, to remember? If it's something that, is in relation to something else, we might remember what it's in relation to, but not the actual business name. Another thing with the spelling is there are lots of different words, especially in the English language, that have the same meaning or sound, but different spellings. Take gray, for example. It could be G-R-E-Y or G-R-A-Y. I still don't know which one to use when. Moving on from what your business name is, we're going to start talking about what your URL name is, because let's face it, it's probably the same thing. And if you can't spell it and you can't remember it, then how is someone going to type it into their URL search bar and find you and find out more information about you? Similarly, when you're thinking about this and looking at what's available, if someone has the .com of the business name that you're looking for, I would recommend not choosing to use a URL with .co or .io or something along those lines, just because, especially in America, we're so used to writing .com that if your website is not there, we might get confused, and we have to really want to try and find your website in order to keep going. Or what if there's another business that does something similar to what you do at that URL? You will be giving them your business or your potential business. So that's a really important thing to consider, and that's why I recommend trying to find a URL or a business name that has a .com URL available. The next step with easy to find you is try and find a handle for your social media accounts that can cross the platforms where you're going to be visible on. What I mean by this is don't have a million different types of handles. I, for example, have My Lavish Craft for Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. So that way, all I have to do is say, find me at My Lavish Craft, and people will know to find me at My Lavish Craft on the specific URL areas that I am. Or they can even try and find me on other ones, and if I have an account there, they'll find me. The second point to up-level your branding is figuring out whether or not you're easy to reach. A lot of times people have a website with a contact page, but if you don't have a website and it's just on social media right now, you need to make sure that your information and getting in contact with you is easy to do. If it is on a website, then make sure that you have a contact page that works and that comes to your email or wherever it is that you need it to go in order to know that you need to respond. And if the best way to reach you is on social media, tell us on your website if that's the case, because that's a really cool aspect to have. If you don't have a contact page or anything like that, then just at least have your email address or a phone number in the footer of your website. It's really that easy. Just make it so that I or anyone else can find you without having to use more than 1% of our brain power. Thirdly, once we've decided that it's easy to find you and it's easy to reach you, we need to talk about your response time. Now, your response time can be a double-edged sword, but I like to say set expectations, because that way it gives them the benefit of knowing what they can expect from you, when they can expect a response. They're not constantly checking or feeling like they have been forgotten or something. They know that your response is coming within a certain time frame. But the double-edged sword part of that comes in if you overdo that deadline and you miss it, and that can reflect poorly on you. So it is a double-edged sword, but it's typically still one that I would highly recommend you have. Just go with a standard 24 to 48 business hours if you're really not sure what to do. Fourth, once they have found you, they've reached out and they've had a conversation with you in some sort, even if it is just email, they're probably getting ready to purchase something from you. So it's time to look at how easy it is to take payment and to start working with you. If you're not accepting credit cards, then that's definitely something you need to work on, because we don't like to think about how much money we're spending or when we're spending it. Make it a quick and easy process for us so that we don't have to overthink it. If we overthink it, it might never happen. Furthermore, if you're taking payment and if you're a service-based business provider, I would highly recommend you have a contract. Your contract doesn't have to be anything super special. It can just be like, I am not going to be a butt, you agree not to be a butt, I will do the work, you pay me for the work. Easy as that. Granted, I would probably recommend having a bit more of terms laid out, but just having something in place that can set expectations and hold you accountable to what your client can expect from you, but also what you can expect from your client. And if anything were to go wrong, you have something in place that you can fall back on and reference for, how you're going to address the situation moving forward. Also, on the contract, note if it's not easy for you to get a signature on, aka if you're sending it and they need to print it out and sign it and fax it to you or scan it to you or something along those lines, I would highly recommend looking into what programs might work well with your business and your processes that can accomplish getting an e-signature done. That way you can not only store on your digital files, but if you really do want to, and if your client wants to, you can print it out too. And finally, if you've gotten to the point where you're taking signatures on contracts and payment, then don't leave them hanging, okay? If we've spent money with you, and we don't hear anything from you, let's say that the service is not taking place for another month. I still want to know that I purchased something from you. Okay, and I'm pretty sure most people do. So if you just reach out with a quick email being like, hey, so excited to start working with you, here's what you can do up until then, or maybe I will be in contact with you further about this on XYZ date or in a couple of weeks, whatever it is, just let me know what's going on. Let me know that you've gotten my payment, that I'm on your schedule, and just help me feel comfortable that my money has been well spent and I don't need to start doubting you before any work begins. What this all really boils down to is how good your communication is. Communication is really key for your brand experience for your clients, because that's how they're interacting with you. And if it's not easy and it's not clear, then your brand could use some work. If you've got all of these things figured out and you don't have canned emails, your next step is to start working on the canned emails, because they can save you so much time, which will be so much easier for you to actually deliver on your services. I'll talk to you next time.